Alright, Shalom. Shalom. This is your brother Issachar coming back at you with another lesson. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the 144,000 scattered across the four corners of the earth. Shalom to you. Alright, this is we're going to continue. This is a part 2 and what we're about to receive. All right, so this is Amos chapter 8 and verse 14. And I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel. All right, because we're still in captivity. For those of you that don't know, now you know. All right, we're still in captivity. The Lord put us in this condition. So we can, we learned a valuable lesson. We learned first and foremost to fear the Lord and to not, sin or go against Him. All right. Another thing is we're learning what not to do. All right, because remember, it's all education. It's all one big education. If you can receive that, in the spirit. You see. This is it's all one big education from our Heavenly Father Yahweh. Alright, so let's continue. And they shall build the waste cities. So right there, the waste cities, because these cities that are wasted, in World War III. Because as you can see right now, those of you that are watching, it's nonstop. Look at that, See a headline when Trump orders military. It's just nonstop, It's nonstop with these Edomites, But that's a beautiful thing because the Lord is having them go. Like you see how they're like nonstop. Like all right, they're gonna go at it with Venezuela. All right, they're going back at it with Israel. Shit, they're going. Oh shit, they got North Korea is taunting them. It's nonstop. So it's just that just shows don't be wary. Remember that's the Lord speeding things up because he's literally gonna have our enemies destroy each other because you can see at this rate what is the outcome of everyone just amping up war. And it seems like almost every week the United States has a war with somebody else, but that's the Lord. Because remember how the first Roman Empire fell. It's because they were too spread thin. So as you can see, right now America is losing its power structure. America is divided. America is also going to send in troops in their own country. Not only that, but they're starting new wars like every week with somebody else. See, so they only have so much power and so many people. They can't be everywhere at once. You see, but that's the Lord, because the Lord is starting fires with America. Everywhere. So America has too many fires to put out. They can't be everywhere at once. You see, so remember, the whole world is coming up against America, and you can see it. You can see his places through, and you can see Trump too, Trump with his crowd behind, he ain't slowing down, and he's doing a perfect job in destroying this place. Remember, the Lord is, hey, I got a quick example. You know how when people, when they're like in a high-speed pursuit, like when a CHP or police officer is chasing somebody and they're on a hot pursuit chase, right? Okay, so when someone's like that on a hot pursuit chase, something that can happen is that, when someone's going so fast, like let's say on a motorcycle and he's trying to run away from like a CHP officer and he's going like over 100 miles an hour, sometimes the CHP, they'll just kind of sit back and let that dude run his course, because he's driving so recklessly, he's going so fast that the officer, he'll pretty much just let him run his course. And usually, what happens when somebody's driving that fast and that recklessly, they usually crash. Because they're just like they're like in a panic. See, because they're scared and they're driving that fast. When someone's going like stupid fast, where it don't make sense, where like then they're uncontrollable and being reckless, they're gonna crash. Same thing with Donald Trump. So this is why the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai was on me to give you guys that example, because that's exactly how it is. You just gotta sit back and let Donald Trump just go full speed ahead, full throttle, because remember, the faster he goes, it's like a hot pursuit chase. The faster this dude goes, he's gonna crash out because he's going too fast. He's reckless. He's like, oh, I'm gonna fight everybody. You see the way he is by his actions. Saying he's gonna fire all his generals. He's gonna send military into his own country, and he's trying to fight the world. And say forget NATO and everybody at the same time. You know, see. So you gotta just let this dude run his course. Because this dude's so he's so proud. He's so proud. He's so puffed up. He's doing things so fast that it's gonna crash his place like that, like somebody on a motorcycle that's going over 100 miles an hour on a hot pursuit chase. That's like Donald Trump. Let him run his course. And that's exactly what's happening, because they're going so fast. They're starting so many fires, and there's so many wars everywhere. They can't be everywhere at once. And that's I don't want to get too much off topic, but that's exactly what happened to the first Roman Empire. How did they fall? They were too spread thin. See, because they were big. That's the thing. Sometimes when you have too much ground to cover, you can't be everywhere at once. Because when you're a big empire, yeah, that's cool and all, but once you start spreading out too thin, you can't fight everybody at once. Yeah, you may be strong, because the United States, don't get it twisted, okay? Make no mistake, the United States military is very strong, okay? But they can't, they want to fight everybody all at the same time. It's not gonna happen. It's only a matter of time. You see? Amos chapter 9 verse 14. And I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities. All right, because these lands that are destroyed in World War III are going to be built up again. This world is going to go back to order and righteousness. That way, people can enjoy their families. Not just work, 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 work. Same thing. It's endless. Until you have to retire. You don't got to worry about your family members passing away and all that. Because remember, that's another big thing. There's going to be no more death. Imagine that. So you're gonna always be right there with your family. And that's for it's for eternity. Because the Israelites, every last one, from the 144 all the way down to the 1/3. That consists of men, women, and children. Everyone's gonna be immortal. Everybody. So you don't gotta worry about death and sickness and all that. It's all going away. And they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. Right. And they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. Verse 15, and I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land. Here we go. Here's the point, okay? Because we got the Lord took us out of our land, all right? Because we stopped obeying the law, statutes, and commandments. Remember that, all right? But that just goes to show you, all right? Remember, I believe it was like 2 lessons ago that I made, that I was telling you guys that the heathens are retarded because they're fighting over the Edomites, the small hats who live in Israel right now, and the Arabs, who's Ishmael. They're fighting over Israel. They're fighting over Jerusalem, which is our land. That's not the heathen's land. Okay, that land was given unto us. So right here, which I gave them. All right, said the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai. So that land over there, that's our land. See, and these heathens are over there fighting tooth and nail over that. Which is a complete, it's just retarded because that land is for the Israelites. It's not for the heathen. You know, it's not for the heathen. You see, so this is something that is very important for you guys to know. Because the heathen are out here, fighting tooth and nail over our land. That land was given to us. We're reading it right here. This is Psalms chapter 37, verse 38. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together. There it is. All right, because yeah, if you want to join, and sell out, like Beyonce and P. Diddy and all that, you're all going to be destroyed along with the heathen. Psalms 37:38. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together. See that? So together. The Lord's not going to say, all right, well, I'm going to destroy these people a little less and destroy the heathen a little more. And, my people that are being bad, all right, I'm going to kind of take it easy on them because they're my children. Nah. Okay. They're going to be melted alive too. Remember, the Lord is a just power. Yep. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together. Right. So that's the scripture right here to let you know. Well, whoever, it don't matter. Even if you're a wicked Israelite, you're gonna get destroyed right next to the Edomites and heathens together. See, there it is. The end of the wicked shall be cut off, because we're at the end of the wicked. They're gonna be cut off real soon. See that? So this is why you don't have to. You don't really gotta worry about it too much. Because the wicked are about to be, cut off. No more of this, wickedness out here. None of this bullcrap. All right. Revelation chapter 3, verse 7 and verse 8. And the angel of the church in Philadelphia write these things, saith he that is holy. Right, because holy means separate. All right, he that is true, he that hath the key of David. See, because that's what the Lord is building up right now, the house of David. He that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. Yeah, because this is this is the workings of the Lord. So nobody can stop this thing. Okay, no one can stop it. Nobody. Okay, so because the Lord decides who's in and who's out. It don't matter if these communities don't like it. It don't matter if the Rothschilds don't like it. No one's gonna stop it. For no retarded AI, and the left hand side, they ain't gonna stop nothing. They can do sacrifices all day long. It ain't gonna change a damn thing. See? Verse 8. Okay, Revelation chapter 3, verse 8. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door. See, that's what the Lord knows your works. And no man can shut it, for thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word. See? Because you got to keep the Lord's word, what he's saying. All right? Not what you feel. Okay? Not about what the community says. See? And has not denied my name. All right? Because Bishop Nathaniel, all right, IOIC, you guys are denying the Lord's name. You guys are saying Most High Christ bless. Some of you that are brought up into that, you were taught wrong, all right, but there's some of you that you guys know the name Yahweh Shai, and you guys are still not teaching it like Nathaniel. Okay, he's messing up big time because he knows the name. See, there's some of you out there like you were just you happen just to be part of those false Israelite groups, and you were just taught, you never knew the name Yahweh Shai. See, and if you're part of the hopeful elect and you're in these groups like ISUBK, IOIC, the Lord's gonna take you out. He's gonna wake you up. All right. It's just that the leaders, because they know, okay, like the main dude, and especially Nate, especially Nate. I mean, he knows the names, So that's way worse, because it's one thing like you don't know it and you're teaching it. All right, well you don't even know it. Okay, but it's another thing when you do know it, you know, when you do know it and you're not even teaching it. You see, you know. So yeah, man. If that dude Nate don't repent, shoot, man, he got a lot of blood on his hands. You know? Can you imagine? Because 148, I plugged that. You need that name. You know? You gotta have that name. Psalms 149. Give me a second. Okay. Right here. Psalms 149. We're gonna get this whole chapter from 1 all the way down to the 9th verse. All right. Praise ye the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So praise the Lord. Don't make again. The Spirit's on me. To talk about Nate. Not just put him down, but I mean, because he's messing up so much. He's messing up so much that he's a prime example, because that's something for the children of Israel to look at him and say, okay, and it's not so much to put the dude down and just like, oh hey, you guys just hate the guy. No, it's just that the mistakes he's making, it's a beautiful example, because for us teachers, we can show you like, look, don't do this, because by what he's doing is wrong. So he's just because he's messing up so bad. you know. Salakia, it's just I'm in the spirit. He's just because he's a good example, because he's well known, people know about him, what I'm saying? IUIC is known, and the way he's messing up, it's good for us to point out and just say like, look, that's not what you do, See, and we're not even, I'm not even, not even, because he is messing up as far as teaching, but I'm not really putting the man down, you know. But as far as teaching, yeah, he's going off, he's going off, So that's why, and I see that too, a lot of, a lot of the, the apostles, Apostle Dahar, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Rama, they bringing it out, because he's a good example on what not to do. So the elect, the children of Israel can see that and be like, all right, because it's a perfect example to show you like, hey, look, check it out, like, see that, like, that's, you don't do that, see, yeah, you know, praise ye the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because if you watch IOIC, that dude Nate, he idolizes himself. He turned himself into an idol. If you ever watch his, right before they start their lessons or their shows, whatever, you'll see that it'll be a picture of him. And like in the background, it'll be a picture of him. Sometimes they have scriptures, but most of the time it'll be a picture of him. Like back in the 90s when you used to go buy a CD of like, whoever, R&B, whoever it might have been at that time, you had the, like you had your R&B singers, your rappers, your rock and roll. You would have that artist right there, in the background, boom, because all right, hey, this is about that person, right? Because that's how it is. You would see, oh yeah, hey, this is I'm gonna go buy a CD of this individual, this artist, and you would see him or her, right on the CD case. Remember that, like in the 90s, we used to go buy CDs and stuff. Remember that? Okay, so it's like that, It's like that, when so that's how it is with Nate, because you look up IUIC, does this show the Lord, Yahweh Shai, and not he. Sometimes he'll go into the tribes. That's one thing that IOIC does do. They talk about the 12 tribes, which is good. But on a lot of other stuff they're going off. You see, all right, because you see in IOIC, you just see Nate in the back, standing like a Power Ranger. It's like, yo, this ain't about you. And then you'll see like a little scripture on the bottom. Like what the hell? Why is he all dressed up like a Power Ranger? Because he turned himself into an idol. So when people look at IUIC, because automatically you already know, oh yeah, this dude Nate. Because he's all over it. You know, and people have testimonies. There's members in IOIC, and they tell, and they're speaking. They're saying, oh yeah, all he wants to do is to idolize Nate. Because they even say it. Like the people who are in IOIC, like the newer members, they say it. Like, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's bugged out. Because who's Nate? He ain't nobody. You see? Sing unto the Lord Yahweh Shai a new song, and his praise in the congregation of his saints. Once again, the saints right there, just for edification purposes, that don't mean that that oh hey, oh that person's a saint because they're so perfect, they never do nothing bad. No, okay, that word saint means um, is that's the Israelites. Okay, so even the wicked Israelites right now, they're saints too. It's just that the leaders of this world has, everybody twisted up like a pretzel. You see, and so the prophets are, cleaning everything up, adjusting everything, telling you, okay, no, this is not right. This is what it is. You know, because that's why there's right now, the spirit of truth. It's a hot topic. This is a major thing because people want to know, okay, well, what is the truth? Because there's so much stuff out there, especially those of you who are barely learning about it. Because yeah, you're like, damn, I want to know, like, like tell me more, right? Right. Because you want to know, like, damn, I've been lied to. Like, this is, yeah, we all have. But this is why the Lord sent His prophets to give you that, You see, um, so that's great, mercy from the Lord, you know, you see. And if people scoff or whatever, that's on them, But that right there, just the fact that the prophets are out there nonstop, that's great mercy from the Lord because He's telling you, what it is. You see, through His men, and are His men the prophets, the true prophets? They're nonstop. Because they're really sent from they're really the true, because the true prophets are back. You know, see, yeah, because they're really their inspiration really came from the Lord. Yup, not like these fake churches who do, who just put on a stunt, who are actors, and who sell out to the so-called white man. Like a cherry. See, the real prophets are, because they're real. Like, hey, they're real. Like, yeah, man, the prophets are real. Verse 2, let Israel rejoice in him that made him, right? Because Yahweh Shai made us. He's our created. He also made you Edomites and heathens as well. That's right. Let the children of Zion, that's us, the Israelites, okay, to Zion, to Zion, to Zion, to Zion. That's us, the Israelites. Be joyful in their king. Our king is Yahweh Shai. And also here on the earth is going to be King David. All right? That's what the Lord's raising up right now, the house of David, the tabernacles of David. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp. Verse 4, for the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai taketh pleasure in his people. So the Lord is not going to forget about his elect. Also, the 2/3, as mad as he is at you guys right now, he's still gonna let you guys inherit the kingdom and be immortal. You're gonna have immortal bodies, everything. Even though right now, like, you're a sellout, you're still gonna make it in the kingdom, but just the second round. You're not gonna make it the first. You're gonna have to go through that judgment, that fire, whatever the Lord has for you. And then when the elect, have children in the kingdom, uh, the 2/3 are gonna come in. Yep. He will. Here we go. Check it out. He will beautify the meek with salvation, the elect, because it's not all doom and gloom and we're all gonna die. No, hell no. You know who the hell said that? Fucking Jeff. You know, let's hear it. You know, Kimberly. Who said that? Okay. You know who? Robert. Who's saying all this shit? Hey, AI is gonna take over. We're all gonna die. It's not. Hey, you know, hold your tongue. You know, sit down. Sit down. Go take a seat. Sit down. You know. You know, go eat your baked potato. You know, sit down. Sit down. You know, just relax. You know, what are you talking about? Huh? You know, we're all gonna die. Nah, nah. You know, that's just something you gotta understand. The elect are gonna make it out of here. It don't matter what AI and oh yeah, they got advanced missiles and all that. They got no power over Yahweh Shemel Shine the angels. You even realize how powerful they are? You know? You see? So this is something that you know, when you guys hear people like that talk stupid like that, they're just being silly, you know? But it's because they don't have the truth. See? But those of you that know the truth, this is why this word's precious because it's priceless. See, when the world's bugging out and you know say, "Oh, we're all gonna die" and be in shambles and all that, scrambling, you know, the elect's gonna be okay. See? Huh? Verse 5. Let the saints let the saints be joyful in glory. See? So the saints, the Israelites, see, so rejoice. You know, because with all this, there's a stop to this. It's not just oh, it's gonna be war after war and you know, just martial law and like damn, this is it. Like, yeah, this is it for the wicked kingdom. But remember, the kingdom comes right after that. Remember, Yahweh Shai and the angels, you've seen all those videos that the prophets are posting up, including myself, you know, because I post up those videos a lot of the chariots, the so-called UFOs, because that's what when I first came into the truth, when the Lord first woke me up, that's what got me, you know, like motivated a lot, you know. So that's why I pushed that out there because that's just to show you, you Israelites out there that look, the angels are right here, that we're not alone, you know, and that's the big motivator right there, you know. Because I know I was just, you know, shoot, man, I was just totally, you know, blown away, you know, when I first seen the chariots, like, what, you know, that's the angels, and, you know, come on, man. So that's why I pushed it up. I pushed out those videos a lot with the chariots because that inspires me a lot, you know. That so I, you know, that's why I push it out so much because just to, you know, for the Israelites out there, so you guys can receive, so Lord willing, you guys can be, you know, like motivated, like you know. So every time I post up, you know, a video with the chariots of Israel, you guys can see, like, all right, you know, because those are the vehicles that are gonna destroy our enemies and are gonna save the elect. Lord willing, myself, if I'm worthy, you see, you know. So oh yeah, like Apostle Tahar said yesterday, you know, because it's nothing light. You know, when you see those chariots, that's a piece of the kingdom right there. You know, because those are not no ordinary vehicles. You know, those are sent from the heavens, from Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. You know, when you see those ships, you know that's sent from the. They're from a whole nother. They're sent from the Lord. You know, so when you see those ships, it ain't no like oh whatever. No, that's the angel. Those are angels right there. You know, sent from the Lord. You know, that's what Apostle Hart said yesterday. You know, he said, yeah, that's the kingdom of heaven right there. You know, so that's just to show you, like, yeah, like rejoice. You know, like, no, it ain't all doom and gloom. You see, and but that's how the wicked like to, that's how they like to get a hold of people. You know, because they like to play off your fear. You know, because once they got that, you know, that's it. Because if people bow down to them and they control your mind, that's it. But once you know that the Lord is real and that there's a power greater than them, then you don't gotta be so worried. Like, all right, cool. Like there is a way out. Like yeah, you know. Yeah, the world may not know that because that's the world. That's why we say people in the world because they haven't been woken up to the truth. This is why exactly we teach and say, oh, people in the world because you're just looking at KTLA, CNN. Okay, what's going on in YouTube alternative news sites such as like W7, but you're not really following. You're not following the prophets. See, because you're seeing what the world is seeing, okay, not the Lord. Remember? See, so people in the world like, oh yeah, AI is gonna take out everybody. No, it's not. Shit, the angels. You know what the angels are about to do to all these AI robots out here? That's playtime. You kidding me or what? You know? Shit. How with Esau? You know? Straight up. You know? To you watch what the angels do to the AI out here. You know? To the robots, they're just gonna be toys for the angels. You know, and you guys are gonna see. You know? Absolutely. This is why the elites they're all underground because they're scared. They know, like, damn, they got super soldiers, androids, and all that, but you can't go toe to toe with the angels, and especially Yahushua, the son of Yahweh, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Yo, you know, yes, the wicked are gonna have their little time to bring out the robots and mess up people in the world, but the elect are gonna be covered and protected from by the angels. And how about you outside? See, there's levels to this thing. Yeah, people in the world might be like, oh no, there's no way. Well, that's because you're in the world. You don't know the Lord. You know, there's levels to this thing, baby. Verse 5, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Verse 6, let the high praises of the Most High Yahweh be in their mouth. Yeah, so praise the Lord, man. You know, damn it. You know, what's the matter with you, Jake? And a two-edged sword in their hands. Right, because this word can cut both ways, right? Because by preaching this word, our enemies, they're getting cut. They're like, damn, yeah, because they're getting cut. Because words hurt, Yeah, they might be like, nah, but this is why they have the law. Like, oh, you can't say that. You can't say that. That's offensive. See, I'm offended because words hurt. So you don't think these words are offending our enemies? Man, hell yeah. Why do you think they're so, why do you think they're so ready, They're so ready to rock and roll. Like, let them roll. Remember, the faster they make their move, once they start to hit the hopeful elect, then the spiritual power is going to be activated. But they are going to start rolling, you know? Yeah, you know? So it cuts both ways, this word, because uh, the teachers of Yahweh Shema Shai, we can cut our enemies because they're cut by hearing the truth. They're cut, it hurts them. But so what? They hurt us all the time. So shit. The hell, an eye for an eye, baby. You know. And now Esau, he wants us to feel sorry for him, and now he's looking at us like, hey, help me, feel sorry for me. What, after you killed all of us? You guys brought us over here in slave ships, and now you're looking at us like, oh, feel sorry for us. Oh, help me, help you. Get out of here. You retarded or what? Help you. Remember, you guys brought us over here in slave ships. Remember how we got over here? You guys dragged us and forced us over here in slave ships. Now you're looking at us like, oh, hey, feel sorry for us. Nah. Hey, you gotta be retarded, man. Huh? Like, remember how we got here? And now you're like, oh, hey, help us, help us. Help you? My nigga. No, you're going down, bro. You did it. The hell? Huh? You destroyed the whole planet, Esau. And now you want, look around the room and say, hey, help us. Nah, you did it. Hmm? You did it, mister. See? Huh? Now you want to look around the room. Hey, feel sorry for us. Nah. Hey, did you feel sorry for us when you were slaughtering millions of our brothers and sisters? Now you want to look around the room and, hey, help me, help us. Shit. You can help yourself to a cheeseburger. For real. You see? But why is it a two-edged sword? Because it's a two-edged sword because, we can cut our enemies, you know, but, by the word, because it cuts them, because it's the truth, it cuts through all the lies, but also people who are not humble, who don't teach the word right, they get all jacked up, like Alazar, Nate, IUIC, because it cuts both ways, because if you don't teach it right, the Lord will destroy you. Look what happened with Alazar, you know. Look what happened with that dude. With what was it Sakari? Sakari. That dude Alazar. Look what happened to that dude. He said that he's not even a Hebrew Israelite anymore, which is impossible because unless he's a heathen. But if you're a Hebrew Israelite, remember this is not a religion. This is the blood we have flowing through our veins. You know. And then Nate, another prime example, because you see how he thinks he's a Power Ranger. He thinks he's like King David. He thinks he's the man. You know, he thinks he's the man. You see that because this word it puffs you up. Because it's the Lord's word. So once people start to learn it, they think, oh yeah, yeah, I got the power. No, sit your ass down. You ain't got no power. This is not our word. Okay, did Nate write the book? No. So how can he be all proud and puffed up like, oh yeah, I got it. What do you got? What do you got? Let's hear it. What do you have? You see? Huh? This is why you can't get proud and puffed up because did you write this book, Nate? Like you're all proud and puffed up just because what you can break it down and you're not even breaking it down right. But he does understand, some, because he does read it, but he's not giving the elect the children of Israel the proper breakdowns. You know, there's certain stuff, yeah, that he does say that is correct, but a lot of it he's teaching wrong because he does read it, but that's why because knowledge puff it up. See, so when people read this book, they think, oh yeah, I got the power, I'm the shit. No, you're not. You didn't write this book. This is the Lord's. This is the Lord's book. What are you talking about? You see, people get all lost in the sauce because it cuts both ways. Because it's a very powerful book. That's why if you don't understand it, you just can't be anyone. Just go out there. The Lord will destroy you, like for real. Yeah. See, verse 7. Oh, here we go. Psalms 149 and verse 7 down to the 9th verse. To execute vengeance upon the heathen. There it is. Vengeance. And punishments upon the people. There it is. Here we go. Here's the part where we're the hopeful elect, Yahushai, the angels, and the 144,000 are literally going to after the Lord beams up the hopeful elect in those spaceships, the so-called UFOs, the so-called UAPs. All right, when he comes back down with the 144,000 angels, they're gonna go hunting, and they're gonna go put literal chains on the elites, but they're not just gonna put chains on them and say go to work. They're gonna, beat them down. Okay, you think the Lord and the angels and the 144,000 are just gonna treat them like, like, oh yeah, all right, line up, you guys are going to work, you guys are going to slavery? Nah. Okay, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh, the angels and the 144,000 are gonna beat down these elites so bad, because look what they're doing. Look what they did. Imagine. So before they, they're gonna get a beat down. The angel's not just gonna say, all right, let's go to slavery. Pick up a shovel. Nah, they're gonna get a beat down. Bad. We're talking bad, man. Like real bad. Cause you see how evil. You see how bad these dudes are. You know, um, Organ harvesting, child trafficking, raping children, and all that crap. Imagine. You know, imagine all the stuff that they're doing. Messing with people around the world. So the Lord, not the Yahweh Shai, the angels, and the 144,000, they're not just gonna put chains and say, okay, let's go. You're in trouble. Nah, the Lord and the angels are gonna beat these dudes down, and you can see, starting with King Charles, and Trump, these Edomites are soft. You think they can handle a beatdown? Hell no. These dudes are squares. Yeah, they have money, but they're squares. They're soft. Imagine. So they're gonna get beat down so bad, bad. For real. And no one can stop it. Yeah, there may be a lot of teams out there, but no one's gonna stop anything. Remember, all you teams out there, you guys can try. Keep your boots tied, but once the Angels get rolling, there's gonna be a whole lot of ass kicking out there. A whole lot. See? To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. See that? With chains. See? Just like they did to us when they, put chains on us and, they, the small hats, because they financed the ships that brought us over here. to the to the west. They put chains on us and put us on those cargo slave ships. What do you think is gonna happen to them? Yeah. Oh yeah. You see. You know. All right. So yeah, that's what's gonna happen to them. This is something that it's very very it's serious. Because people may say, oh, that ain't gonna happen. We're just telling you what's gonna happen by the scriptures. Okay. You know, they're kings, meaning, okay, who's the king of America right now? Trump. Who's the king over there is King Charles. Okay, so all the leaders, okay, all the heathens, everybody, the leader of China, the leader of North Korea, all of you are gonna get snatched up. Okay, I don't know. The Lord may put some of you down. Some of you He's gonna save for slavery. You know. But you guys, those of you heathen that do die in judgment, or that do get put down, in World War III, you're gonna be reincarnated, because reincarnated is real. So those that the Lord preserves of you heathen, because you guys are gonna procreate in slavery. When you procreate, whoever dies in this World War III or judgment, you guys are gonna be born again, but into slavery, just like how we are. Like right now, like our parents, yeah, we have children, uh, we have grandfathers and fathers, but we're born into slavery because the international bankers own us, just like that. Okay, you heathens that pass away in this third world war, you guys are gonna be back, but in our kingdom, in slavery. Yep. Just like the way we are right now underneath Esau. Okay, how we're born right away, our mother has to sign the birth certificate to let the international bankers know that there's another product. All right. See, same thing. You guys are gonna be born in our kingdom as a slave. Oh yeah. Verse 9. To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So that's exactly what's happening right now. The Lord is raising up His men, starting with the 144,000. Okay, because they're gonna go, with Yahweh Shai. They're the governing body. They're the first fruits. That's the house of David. 12,000 from each tribe, which equals 144,000. That's the true prophets, the house of David. Okay, not the house of Saul, the house of David. Oh yeah, okay, the real prophets, not you phonies out there. See? So with that, that's it on today's lesson on the part two on what we're about to receive. Stay strong. Hope the hopeful elect was edified out there. Stay tuned in, stay locked in, focus. Okay, don't worry about too much what's going on. You know, uh, stop making too many excuses. Get right with the Lord first. Okay, of course, handle your business, take care of your priorities, your family, hey, you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Do the damn thing. But at the end, get right with the Lord. Don't forget about Him, or He'll forget about you and your children. Do you want that? All right. Okay, pues. You see? So with that, stay sharp, stay strong on your feet, soldier. Shalom.